It feels really weird from a modern standpoint, but when NASA was brand new, no one wanted to run it. Being the agency's administrator in 1960 was a huge ask. It meant managing the Mercury program, figuring out what was going to happen next, standing up to the service branches as they were all trying to take control of the space program, and maybe very publicly shoulder the burden of killing an astronaut. Because everything about spaceflight was so unknown, there was a real chance for fatalities in flight. In 1960, space was really glamorous, but the idea in Washington was that it wasn't going to last very long. NASA was probably going to get a Mercury astronaut up before the Soviet Union launched one of their guys, and then the agency would shut down because it had won the race to get a man into space. So then what would happen? Because a lot of people thought that whoever was leading NASA when it closed down would just have a permanent blotch on their record. After Kennedy's inauguration, Vice President Lyndon Johnson earmarked lawyer-turned-lobbyist Jim Webb for the job, and because of all the things I just mentioned, he did not want the job. He actually refused to even consider the offer unless Kennedy asked him himself. So that meeting was set up, and Jim Webb said to him, "You need a scientist or an engineer, not someone like me." And Kennedy said to him, "No, I need someone who understands policy. You've been Undersecretary of State and Director of the Budget. This program involves great issues of national and international policy, and that's why I want you to do it." I think it's such an interesting conversation they had, and so great that there's a record of it because it's absolutely true. At the end of the day, the person who leads NASA needs to understand policy, because space exploration, even though we look at it and we see human exceptionalism, we see this great expanse into the cosmos, it's really just politics. I just did a huge YouTube video about the interplay between space exploration and politics, and at the end of the day, it answers the question of why we've had such a hard time committing to a lunar or a Mars program since 1972. It's nearly 2 hours long, but it also covers 70 years of space policies, so if you want it, the link is in the description.